and not understanding that this is a long-term play. This isn't a short-term play. And right now, that short-term play is gone. If you wanted that little bit of pump and dump, consider it pumped and dumped. Now we're in the long game. Welcome back to Broke Man Finance. My name is Adam, and in this video, we're going to be talking about Zomedica, ticker symbol ZOM. A lot of people are feeling burned right now and not sure what to do. So we're going to talk about what Zomedica has going on, the recent news, some pros and cons. A lot of people out there don't even know that they have some new products on the horizon, so we're going to talk about that. Stick around to the very end because we're going to talk about share price and also what the hell I'm going to do. Let me go ahead and get this out of the way right now. If you're here looking for someone to tell you that this thing is going to $5 a share anytime soon, I'm not. This ain't the video. If you're here looking for somebody to tell you that this company is a complete bust, I'm definitely not going to tell you that either. The share price has obviously jumped off an effing cliff here recently, but if we are being honest, until Truforma is pumping out some decent revenue numbers, which they're not yet, and Zomedica has some more revenue generating products, well then, I'm not surprised that they're at where they're at. Of course, I wanted to see that share price keep jumping up more and more on Zomedica. I'm also an investor, so obviously I like seeing all those green days. But the share price also needs to be justified by what they have going on with sales and revenue, which it wasn't at those levels. But the market, as it often does, gave a lot of people a reality smackdown over the past couple of months. Let's look at the recent perceived bad news, and then we're going to move into the more positive stuff here in a few minutes. But here's what Robert Cohen had to say, the CEO of Truforma, here recently. This just came out a couple days ago. Robert Cohen of Zomedica commented, "As Truforma's market presence grew, we intended to transition from a distributor-based sales model to a direct sales organization." What he's saying there, from my understanding, is the distributor-based model is basically Miller was going to be selling their product. And in the future, they wanted to transition into a direct sales organization or at least have an in-house sales team. However, due to anticipated changes at our current distributor that we believe have impacted its ability to market our products effectively, we will be accelerating that transition and the building of a direct sales organization. While this effort may slow initial sales of Truforma, we have taken this action now to avoid any disruption to our customers and to provide a stronger foundation on which to build the marketing and sales of both Truforma and any future products developed or acquired by Zomedica. Now, this can be looked at as bad news and good news at the same time. In the short term, this isn't good news. Miller obviously wasn't holding up their end of the bargain. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but they were not performing up to expectations. They were not living up to the expectations that Zomedica had. When I say this is bad for the short term, what I mean is moving from a distributor-based model to an in-house sales model. Well, that whole transition, they're going to have to advertise for sales positions, interview for those positions, train for those positions, implement that strategy, find vets to get into to try to make these sales and build these relationships. And all that stuff takes a lot of time. So because it takes so much time, we're probably not going to see very good Truforma sales results for a little while. So it doesn't take a genius to understand what that could potentially do to the share price when these earnings reports come out and, well, those revenue numbers are underwhelming. People will yell it's a bust because these sales numbers look terrible, and that share price will probably drop off even more. But it's going to get worse before it gets better. But I do believe it's going to get better. From a long-term perspective, this is the best approach, especially with Zomedica putting out more products in the future. Now, they didn't want to do this transition so abruptly because they wanted Miller to help drive those revenue numbers up, give investors a few good earnings reports, and slowly but surely transition into that in-house sales team because that's where they're looking at for the future. Nonetheless, this will be the best way to go in the long term, but I fully expect this thing to have some downward momentum over the next couple of quarters on that share price. Brew Herbst, I hope I'm saying that right, Chief Commercial Officer of Zomedica, had this to say. During my time as head of sales and marketing at IDEX, I saw the value and impact of a direct sales organization. A direct sales force will significantly improve our ability to serve our customers and to sell our products in the veterinary market in the longer term. We are fortunate that we have the financial strength at Zomedica to make this transition and look forward to building a quality sales force to match the excellent quality of Truforma. If you don't know who IDEX is, they are the big dog in this space. So Zomedica is fortunate to have guys like Brute Herps, however you say his name. I apologize, Mr. Herps. Very fortunate to have guys like that in their corner. One good thing Zomedica has going for it is just the pet industry as a whole. If you have been following this channel for any length of time, you will know that I'm super bullish on the pet industry. There are not very many industries like the pet industry because year after year, for decades, they have seen consistent growth. This industry is looking at a CAGR of over 6% for the next decade. Pet ownership and care has never been higher, and analysts expect this number to continue to grow. The animal diagnostics market is set to grow at a CAGR or a compound annual growth rate of 9.8% from 2020 to 2025, which presents an incredible source of recurring revenues, hopefully, for Zomedica. As Zomedica creates a customer base and builds these relationships with their in-house sales team, it should make it easier to get these products into the hands of these clinics and these vets as new products are released. For instance, if you haven't heard of the ZM020, it is a new product that I'm hoping can be out by next year. Listen to this. Early last year, Zomedica filed a U.S. patent application covering compositions and methods for 5 fecal parasite detection assays for detecting parasitic infections in cats and dogs, designed for use with its ZM020 pathogen detection device. The patent application details optimal fecal sample amounts for parasite infection detection. In early 2019, Zomedica previously submitted a U.S. provisional patent application covering compositions and methods for detecting urinary tract infections, designed for use with its ZM020 pathogen detection platform to detect urinary tract infections in cats and dogs. The initial library of pathogens for fecal samples is focused on identification of hookworms, roundworms, whipworms, and some other stuff that I just can't pronounce. By the time Truforma is finally earning some real revenue, this thing should be coming out. Truth be told, a lot of people got mad at this penny stock because it got a little bit of hype, but it didn't go to the moon as a lot of people were expecting, and they just started calling it trash. It's not trash. It's a young company. And people, especially there's a lot of new investors out there that are reading stuff on Reddit, watching some YouTube videos, hashtag I appreciate that, but they are watching, they're not doing their own due diligence, and they're just throwing money blindly into stocks and expecting the best without really understanding the dynamics behind the company and not understanding that this is a long-term play. This isn't a short-term play. And right now, that short-term play is gone. If you wanted that little bit of pump and dump, consider it pumped and dumped. Now we're in the long game. I am still bullish on Zomedica. However, I understand that this is a young company and they have a lot to prove. But I'm bullish because I believe that they still can. Do I think they're going to $5? Yes. It's not going to be soon, but they will go over $5 per share. So if you're sitting there holding a bag at $260 per share, watching this thing tumble down, you can either sell for a major loss or you can just hold strong and average down. I'm still loading up on shares because I'm a long-term investor, and I understand that this is not going to happen overnight. And when I say long-term investor, I'm not meaning I held a stock for 6 months and now I believe that I'm a long-term investor. No, I'm talking years down the road. Since we're still in that circle of trust, let's talk about that share price. And I'm going to be completely honest, I think this thing is going to go to 40 cents sooner than later, especially with the delay in sales on the Truforma. It's not necessarily a decline in sales, but it's the rate of sales is what's going to make investors concerned that may not understand that this whole transition into the in-house sales approach. So I think we're going to see some more drops in that share price over the next couple of quarters, so you're just going to have to hold on strong. But for me, I plan on, once this thing is bottomed out, and for what I feel like is bottomed out, and so I'm not buying quite yet. because I think it can go down a little bit further, because I want to get as much as I can out of every single dollar I put into the market. So I want to be able to buy as much as I possibly can of Zomedica whenever I put that dollar in. I would much rather buy 2 or 3 shares than 1 or half. So once this thing is bottomed out, that's when I plan to put a chunk more into it. So right now I'm just holding strong on the sidelines. I haven't put any more money into it yet, but I will be, because I believe Zomedica is going to be a good company in the long run. But let me know what you think that share price is going to be in the comment section below. Let me know 1 year, 2 year, 5 year outlooks. As always, I hope the rest of your portfolio stays green. I hope you stay safe, and I hope everyone out there takes care.